Thank you. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this extraordinary meeting of the Council on Thursday, the 8th of June 2023. My name is Councillor Kevin Lagan, and I'm the Chairperson of the Malden District Council. Just a few housekeeping issues to run through first. Members, we're streaming this meeting live as well as recording, and by being present at the meeting, you're giving your consent to being recorded. During each item, please put your hand up to indicate if you wish to speak. I'll then invite you at the appropriate time. Could I ask members to avoid approaching the top table, as this could create interference with the cameras and live stream? We had some problems last time. Please note that the YouTube live stream sound recording is dependent on the correct use of the microphones. Therefore, can I ask that when invited to speak, you remember to turn off your microphone and turn it on and then turn it off when finished. Please reference a page or paragraph number when referring to the agenda papers, and keep your contributions as clear and concise as possible. I've just recovered from an illness, so I'll be a bit breathless, so excuse me if I cough, and I may have to call for an adjournment if that kicks in, and it's not COVID, I can confirm that. I've also, again, I'm suspending Rule 4, Rule 8, subsection 3 of the Constitution, the requirement for standing when addressing the chair. That will be optional this evening, except for agenda item 12, when I'm going to ask members to stand when we nominate committees. Okay, we move on to agenda item 2, which is the appointment of Vice-Chairperson. Councillor Stamp, please.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I would like to nominate, purely for balance and not having a pure top table of males, which it looks like it could be, I would like to nominate and propose Councillor Jeanette Stilts. I understand that she's worked closely with you. She has been previous mayor at Malden Town Council, and I think she's done exceptionally well, and I think she should be put forward to be the vice chair of this council. Do I have a seconder, please?
I think it should be diverse.
It is diverse, thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Fluker?
So Councillor Fluker second that. Yep. Councillor Stamp, thank you for that nomination. I have to just actually make the call for the vice chairperson first, but then you've made your points clear, so I'll then allow that to happen after I've actually called for it. So a call for the nominations for vice chairman of the council for the next municipal year. Nominations.
Mr. Chairman, I nominate Councillor Ron Pratt.
So,
Seconded.
And that's seconded by Councillor Siddle. Members, any other members nominate? Okay, members, what this means that we need to vote. Pardon me. Yeah, Councillor Stamp.
Chairman, can we have a recorded vote, please?
Is that seconded? Yeah, seconded. Recorded vote request is seconded by Councillor Fluker. So the first member that was put forward was Councillor Jeanette Stilts. So we'll need members to call for a recorded vote. So Tara, have you got the roll?
Chairman, do you want me to go through each individual member, or do you want me to just call member and they can vote for Councillor Stilts or Councillor Pratt?
Normally in a recorded vote, it's each individual member that's called for individually.
Okay, so
Thank you.
This is voting for Councillor Stilts, starting with Councillor Bassinger, please.
No.
You're again. Councillor Bell.
Abstain.
Councillor Bone.
No.
Councillor Burwood.
And abstain.
Councillor Driver.
Abstain.
Councillor Durham. Councillor Fittock.
Against.
Councillor Fluker.
For.
Councillor Hayward. Councillor Hughes.
No.
We never got Councillor Hayward, Tara, sorry.
Apologies. Councillor Hayward's for. Sorry, Councillor Hughes was against. Is that correct? Correct. Yeah. Thank you very much. Councillor Jennings.
Abstain.
Councillor Lagan.
Abstain.
Councillor Lay.
Abstain.
Councillor Miller. Councillor Morgan.
No.
Councillor Neal.
For.
Councillor Pratt.
No.
Councillor Shaughnessy.
Against.
Councillor Siddle.
Against.
Councillor Spenceley. Oh, sorry, Councillor. Apologies. Councillor Mrs. Spenceley.
Abstain. Oh.
Sorry, which did you want first?
Sorry, Councillor Nick Spenceley.
Abstain.
Thank you. And then Councillor Paula Spenceley. Abstain. Thank you. Councillor Stamp.
Not wasting a vote. 4.
Thank you. Councillor Stevens. Against. Thank you. Councillor Stilts.
Yeah, there's too many microphones on at the very back. That's it. Thank you.
4.
Thank you. Councillor Swindle.
Abstain.
Councillor Mrs Thompson.
Against.
Councillor White.
Abstain, please, Tara.
So, Chairman, the results of that are 5 for, 11 against, and 11 abstaining, Chairman. Thank you.
Okay. So now we call for the nomination of Councillor Pratt. So again, recorded vote's been called for. So again, could we please go through the roll, please, Tara?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. So, again, members, if you could just indicate for, against, or abstain. This is voting for Councillor Pratt. Starting with Councillor Bassinger, please.
4.
Councillor Bell.
Abstain.
Councillor Bowe.
4.
Councillor Burwood.
Abstain.
Councillor Driver.
Abstain.
Councillor Durham.
4.
Councillor Fittock.
4.
Councillor Fluker.
Against.
Councillor Hayward. Councillor Hughes.
4.
Councillor Jennings.
Abstain.
Councillor Lagan.
Abstain.
Councillor Lay.
4.
Councillor Miller.
4.
Councillor Morgan.
4.
Councillor Neal.
Against.
Councillor Pratt.
4.
Councillor Shaughnessy.
4.
Councillor Siddle.
4.
Councillor Nick Spenceley.
Abstain.
Councillor Paula Spenceley.
Abstain.
Councillor Stamp.
Against.
Councillor Stevens.
4.
Councillor Stilts.
Against.
Councillor Swindle.
Abstain.
Councillor Thompson.
4.
Councillor White.
Abstain, please, Tara.
Thank you, Chairman. The results of that are 13 for, 5 against, and 9 abstaining.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you, members. Therefore, I declare that Councillor Pratt is duly named as the Vice-Chairman of Malden District Council, and I invite Councillor Pratt to undertake the statutory declaration of office, please.
Thank you, members.
You've got one there.
I, Ronald George Pratt, having been elected to the office of Vice-Chairperson of the Council of the District of Malden, declare that I take the office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to observe the code as to the conduct which is expected of members of Malden District Council. Thanks, Chairman.
You just want to sign that document. Thank you very much, and pass it back to the monitoring officer. Councillor Pratt, thank you very much. And I very much look forward to seeing you in the forthcoming weeks undertake your civic responsibilities. Thank you. Thank you, members. We now move on to agenda item number 4, which is apologies for absence. Tara, have we any apologies, please?
Yes, Chairman, we've got apologies from Councillor Rayborn, Councillor Morley, and Councillor Whitley. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much indeed. Item number 5. Sorry, Councillor Stamp.
Chairman, you did say people would look around for people if they'd got their hand up.
That's correct.
Councillor Una Norman has sent her apologies, Chairman.
Thank you very much indeed. Councillor Fluker.
I'm sure everybody will join me and wish Councillor Siddle a speedy recovery. She's had COVID. She's been very, very poorly, and that's why she's not here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Here, I echo your sentiments there, Councillor Fluker. We move on to agenda item 5, which is disclosure of interests. To disclose the existence and nature of any disclosable pecuniary interests, other registrable interests and non-registrable interests relating to items of business on the agenda, having regard to paragraph 9 and appendix B of the Code of Conduct for members. Members are reminded that they are also required to disclose any such interest as soon as they become aware, should the needs arise throughout the meeting. Member, do I have any interest? Councillor Durham, please.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I do have interest in relation to motion 2 in respect of the devolution working group, because I am the Deputy Cabinet Member for Devolution, the Arts and Heritage at Essex County Council.
Thank you. Any other members? I just need to speak to the monitoring office just a moment, members, so I won't be a second. Thank you, members. Thank you for your patience. Councillor Dunn, could I ask you what your interest is, please, and why you declared the interest?
Well, it's non-pecuniary. It's just for openness and transparency.
In what respect? Non-registrable, registrable?
I seek guidance from the monitoring officer. I mean,
Mr. Quelch.
Non-pecuniary doesn't exist. There's three. There's disclosable pecuniary interest. There's other registrable interest, and
other
there's
registrable interest. I think it's an other registrable interest.
Other registrable interest. Okay. Yeah, and obviously members need to, just for clarification, if I may, Chairman, if there's another registrable interest, members have to go through in their own minds, obviously not out loud, but in their minds, whether it directly affects the registrable interest, in this case Essex County Council, and if it does, then of course members need to leave the chamber, or if it only affects, they then need to go through the two-pronged test that I've mentioned in the training, namely, would this interest affect, would this interest have more effect than the majority? And obviously it would. Then the second more important question here is, would Joe Public think, the reasonable man in the street, knowing all the facts, that this interest could affect your view of the wider public interest? So that's obviously a matter for each member to work out in their own minds, because if you decide yes to one of those two questions, then you need to leave the room.
I think on that advice, I will leave the room for the sake of any confusion, although I'm not a decision maker in that process.
Thank you, Mr. Quelch. Thank you, Councillor Durham. I respect that. We move on to item number 6, which is public questions. There are none. Chairperson's announcements is item number 7. I have none. We move on to agenda item 8, which is notices of motions. In accordance with notice duly given under Procedural Rule 4, Councillor A.S. Fluker to move the following motions, duly seconded by Councillors W. Stamp and Councillor J. Stilts. Councillor Fluker.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I rise to present my motions. Chairman, I won't read the motions. They're contained within the agenda items, and for members that haven't read them, perhaps I should. Chairman, regardless of paralysis to Council, the Local Development Plan Review Working Group meetings resume immediately, and that all members are appointed to the working group. It's anticipated that members of the working group of the Council will be appointed at the meeting of Council tonight. It's noted that the critical Local Development Plan Review Working Group meeting, which was due to consider the highly controversial subject of growth options, which affects the whole district, has now been postponed to early July. This means the working group won't have met for nearly 2 months. The time currently allowed by the Conservative government for local authorities to review their plans is very short, and if missed, the government's default position will apply, and our opportunity to shape the district through the revision of our local plan will be lost. For that reason, meetings of this working group should resume immediately and without further delay. The local plan review affects all ward members, particularly so with regards to growth options. And that said, all members should be given the opportunity to comment at the earliest possible opportunity and be part of this working group. It is accepted that members can attend working group meetings, but by making the working group all member, it is hoped that there will be more commitment and understanding from more members, which should mean a faster passage through the committees, and that as a result, the government's statutory timeline could actually be achieved. Chairman, I know you're probably anxious for me to finish, but just for the benefit of the new members, when we have working groups, they often come back to committee, they go back to the working group, other members come along and impact things, and it slows the whole process down. I brought this forward, Chairman, in the basis that it's in the best interest of the Council and that we are all involved. So, Chairman, I conclude by saying I so move. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that seconded? Councillor Fluker, I'll open the floor and debate for this first motion. Members. Councillor Durham.
Well, thank you very much, Chairman. Yes, it is very important, but due to the current review of the MPPF, I was looking for the number of councils that have suspended their local plan review, because it is in excess of 20 local authorities in England have suspended their plan reviews.
Chairman, point of order.
NPPF.
Councillor Fluker, what is the point of order? Sorry.
It's procedural. I mean, we're debating,
Procedural,
Chairman, procedural for. Chairman, we're actually debating, Chairman, whether or not to have an all-member working group, not the mechanics about the MPPF. In fact, what's been said actually gives us even more weight to do this. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Well, it was a point of information, Chairman. So.
Thank you. Yeah, point of information on the point of order. Thank you. Any other members wish to speak? Members, Councillor Stamp, thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. It is for the benefit of the new members. I think last year this working group didn't meet for a few months when they were applying for, that funding? Can you remember? Can anybody help me out? When the officers were taken off to do the UKIF funding, is it, Chairman? Mr. Dodson.
Are you talking about
the funding, Mr.
I believe
Dodson.
You mean the levelling up fund bid.
I knew it was something, Chairman. I think it's important that members know that we hardly met last year, so we're already behind schedule, and you should have received the updates and the information from the officer anyway. So I totally support that we need to get this LDP up and running. This council, what Councillor Durham said, we haven't agreed to suspend it. In fact, I think the opposite. I thought we were looking at actually pulling a fast one and moving it on. So I would actually urge that you do take this motion in the spirit it's meant, and that we start cracking on with what we're elected to do, which is the spatial objectives, and we do our own planning and we don't leave it to speculative developers. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Councillor Stamp. Any other member? Councillor Durham.
I can just come back and read you. So far, 11 authorities have paused or delayed work on their local plans this year alone, 2023, 6 of which explicitly cited the government's proposed changes to national planning policy as the reason for their delay. Point of information, Chairman.
Point of information. Thank you very much, and very informative. Okay, members, we have a motion. It has been seconded. Sorry, Councillor Stamp. Yes, certainly, Councillor Fluker.
Can I come back,
You can come
Councillor
back,
Fluker?
yeah.
Can I actually ask then, in all fairness, for everybody's sake, can we have some advice from the directors? About are we thinking about stopping this plan? How can we actually go on what Mr. Durham's said without some advice from somebody?
No, as I understand it, Councillor Fluke, and we'll refer to the directors in a moment, which I could be wrong, is that we are actually progressing with this plan. So, yes, Mr. Dawson, please.
Thank you, Chairman. The advice consistently from our planning officers has been that we should continue and that the plan can be adapted to the changes to the MPPF. However, the changes aren't entirely clear yet in terms of the MPPF changes because there are consultations going on. But at the moment, I see no reason that we would suspend it and that we'd continue working with a view to adapting it to any changes that there should be in due course.
Thank you, Mr. Dodson. Councillor Fluke, you're right to say.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I mean, I think in summary, I think members are certainly more informed now because, look, I do know that some planning authorities have ceased this work. But we are quite some way into it. We're further into it than these other local authorities. And if we keep going, we can actually get our review done, and we will get a plan which is going to protect this district from speculative development. But to do that, we've all got to be involved. And I think that what Councillor Stamp says is that's the hair moment. It's done on purpose. What Councillor Stamp says is absolutely right. She wants more information. We all want more information, and this is why I'm saying we should all be on this working group. If we're all on the working group, we can all step in and out, we can get the information we want, we can understand what's going on specifically from our wards, and not leave it for, you know, the 8 or 10 people that are on this working group. I mean, during the last administration, I think the leader-elect was on the working group. We used to despair together that how few people turned up at the meetings. We all need to get behind this. It's for the benefit of this district. So, Chairman, I've moved my motion, Chairman, and I hope that everybody supports it.
Thank you, Councillor Fluker. I now move the motion which Councillor Fluker's moved to the vote. For those in favour of Councillor Fluker's motion number 1, please raise your hand. Recorded vote. Okay, that's been called. Recorded vote, seconded. So recorded vote by Councillor Stamp, seconded by Councillor Fluker. Tara, could you take the roll, please?
Thank you, Chairman. So this is voting for motion 1, members. If you could indicate for, against, or abstain when your name is called, please. Starting with Councillor Bassinger.
Against.
Councillor Bell.
For.
Councillor Lowe. Against. Councillor Burwood.
Abstain.
Councillor Driver.
Abstain.
Councillor Durham. Against. Councillor Pittock. Against. Councillor Fluker. For. Councillor Hayward. For. Councillor Hughes.
Against.
Councillor Jennings.
Abstain.
Councillor Lagan.
For.
Councillor Lay. For. Councillor Miller. Against. Councillor Morgan.
Against.
Councillor Neal. For. Councillor Pratt.
Against.
Councillor Shaughnessy.
Abstain.
Councillor Siddle.
Against.
Councillor Nick Spenceley.
Abstain.
Councillor Paula Spenceley.
Abstain.
Councillor Stamp.
For.
Councillor Stevens.
Against.
Councillor Stilt.
For.
Councillor Swindle.
Abstain.
Councillor Thompson.
Against.
Councillor White.
4, please, Tara.
Thank you, Chairman. The results of that are 9 for, 11 against, 7 abstentions.
Thank you very much, Tara. That motion falls. We never move on to motion 2. Councillor Durham's agreed to leave the chamber. Thank you, Councillor Durham. Okay, Councillor Fluker, would you like to present motion 2?
Yeah, thank you very much, Chairman. So motion 2, Chairman, that regardless of the paralysis of council agrees to form a devolution working group, and that all members of the council are appointed to the group, whose first meeting should take place no longer than 14 days from agreeing this motion. Chairman, it's anticipated that members of the working groups of council will be appointed tonight, and that the formation of a new devolution working group may be agreed. In advance of that being considered, this motion gives the opportunity for all members to be involved in what is likely to be the dissolution of Morden District Council in its current format, including the possible transfers of assets, including Promenade Park, Riverside Park, Hythe Quay and the Princess Road campus to a new Greater Essex Authority. A senior, well-informed and well-placed member of this council has stated that in advance of the likely dissolution of this council, a Greater Essex Ghost Council will be set up in 2025, which will be led by an elected mayor whose statutory powers in some areas may be sovereign to those currently enjoyed by this council. This would be followed in 2027 with elections to a new Greater Essex Wild Authority. It is noted that the devolution process is being driven by Essex County Council and that the Deputy Cabinet Member responsible for this process, bringing this process forward, is a member of this District Council. It is therefore for members to decide whether there is a conflict of interest and how that could affect appointments to committees and working groups. Due to the lack of meaningful briefings by the former leader, some members of the previous administration were left disenfranchised and uninformed. The uncertainty and lack of information surrounding the formation of a Greater Essex Authority also affects our residents, businesses and customers. For those reasons, it's very important that the devolution working group meets as a matter of urgency and that all members of this council are appointed to the working group. Basically, over the last year, there has been rumour, there's been conjecture, there's been all sorts of things said to members, and we have not had full updates. And this is very, very important when you start looking at the assets of this council, how they are going to be affected. And I guess that officers may well come up with a different take on what I've just said. This is the problem. There is no hard and fast information going back to members. And as I say, the Greater Essex Authority could see the dissolution of this council in its current format. So, Chairman, I hope members will support this, and I hope members vote either way, because I don't actually think we're elected here to abstain. We should vote. So, Chairman, I move motion 2. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Councillor Fluker. Before I move to the members, I'll just ask Mr Dodson to address this, please.
Thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to clarify some of the briefings that were issued during the last 12 months while these discussions have been going on, and there were arrangements made for not just all members of this council, but all members of all councils across the county to be briefed. And there were 2 briefings arranged face to face, and there were the previous leader did circulate information from the leaders and chief executives meetings. Also, members were informed when the expression of interest that went in from the County Council, Southend and Thurrock councils, that was published and is available on the County Council website as of March. All of that is in line with the white paper on devolution that was published last year. And there is safeguards within that there is no devolution upwards of sovereignty of this council within that, or district councils. The devolution is from government to those upper tier authorities, and a combined authority which would be formed under a level 3 deal would be made up of those 3 councils. There is a discussion of whether the districts would be party to the governance of that, but again, that would be based on downward devolution from government. So those are the facts that we know from the white paper and also from the bid that's gone in. There was also a further briefing this morning at the Leaders and Chief Executives meeting, which I attended, as we don't yet have a leader of the council. There's from that briefing that went to leaders, there will be, which I'll obviously share with the leader of the council when they are elected, there's also a briefing that is being compiled by that group to go again to every member of every council within the county of all of the districts. So respect Councillor Fluker and what he had to say, but I thought it was important just to clarify from an officer perspective. Thank you, Chairman, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr Dodson. Members, just before I move to the chamber, could I just ask everybody to put their mobile phones on silent, please? I've got Councillor White and I've got Councillor Stamp. Thank you very much. Okay, we move Councillor White, please.
Thank you, Mr Chairman, for allowing me to speak. I actually attended, as Chair of Strategy and Resources, a lot of these devolution meetings, and I actually raised in one of them about, is this about losing Malden District Council? And there was a bit of a fabrication by officers, but another member said to me in a message system, actually, yes, that is going to happen. So this is vitally important that we have a group for this devolution, because this affects every single one of us and every single one of our residents. And it's something that we must be involved in, the members. And my other concern is our MP has concerns with devolution, and he is our elected MP. And this is something that we must stand up and be counted for. I also have issues with giving one man more power than all the MPs we currently have in Essex. This one man will be able to make decisions for the whole county. And for me, do we want to give one man that word? We need this working group, and we actually need to stand up for what we believe in. We need to stand up for our residents. It's our duty to stand up for them. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, Councillor White. Councillor Stamp, please.
Mine's only a quick question. I'd be pleased to know when Mr. Dodson briefs the new leader, whoever that may be, how long will it take to come to the council? Because whilst I take on board some of the comments that you made, you said, I don't agree that we were briefed as councillors enough of what we should have been. I'm double-hatted. I'm an Essex County Councillor, but I do not ever, and I've spoken to the Monitor Officer, disclose anything that I get told at Essex. So I've got no conflict of interest here about devolution. But what I am concerned about is that we're not given the information quick enough and the actual, necessarily the whole truth of what possibly is being said. And I think whoever the leader is going to be, I would urge them to actually share it and don't keep it secret from the rest of the members. And I'm going to back totally what Councillor White and Councillor Fluke has said. And I hope members who obviously have been whipped to abstain, chooses not to be whipped, and, oh, I'm sorry, report me to the monitoring officer. He's sitting there. We're elected to vote on important issues, and we need to vote on important issues you was elected to vote on. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Stamp. Any other member wish to speak on the... Councillor Stills, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to also back what Councillor Fluker and Councillor White has said. I've actually been told that we're ready to go to consultation for an elected mayor. So they are expecting to put elected mayor in by 2025. So I will back also what Councillor Fluker has said.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Stilts. Any other member wish to... Councillor Fittock.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Agenda item 16.3.7 says the following working group has been added to list, devolution working group. So have we not already got a working group being proposed?
The working group has, thank you, Councillor Fittock, the working group has been proposed, but this is to the whole council. So where it says devolution working group, they're all members of the council, so it's a separate motion in its own right. Although you are quite correct, there is a devolution working group coming forward later on the agenda. Okay, any other member wish to speak? Okay, we need to put this to the vote, members, please. So sum up again. Sorry, Councillor.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, just for the benefit of Councillor Fittock and others, I did send out the preamble today, and I did make it quite clear in paragraph 1 that we were due to consider this and decide whether or not we should have a devolution working group this evening, and that there's a small number of members that are being appointed to that working group. I'm even more confused now. I'm grateful for the comments of Mr. Dodson, who I know has attended a lot of these meetings, and I accept what he says. But he also did use, in relation to one of his comments, whether or not the district would be affected. Now, the problem we have is there is too much information going around. We know we have the white paper which speaks to mayors and it speaks to funding. So we know that sits there. And then after that, it's just been a case of Essex County Council leading on this to form this Greater Essex Authority. If a member of Essex County Council says that we're going to have a ghost authority in effectively 23 months' time and a mayor, then I'm absolutely staggered that that's not been reported to us. And I mean, I don't know if Mr. Dodson can speak to that or not, but judging by his face, and I've looked at his face for a number of years, I think he's surprised as me. But this is what the problem is with this. We've got a tiny little working group of members that are going to be looking at devolution, reporting back to the council. And I think it is such a big thing. I think it is such a big thing we should have a bigger working group. I'd prefer to have all members involved in this working group. So, Chairman, I'm not sure I move this motion, but Chairman, for clarity, I move motion 2. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Councillor Stamp. Mr Dodson, please.
Yes, if I could just clarify that I did say that with a level 3 devolution deal, there would be a mayoral combined authority, and there would be a full public consultation on that ahead of that, but that would sit above the 3 upper tier authorities and wouldn't directly affect the governance of Malden District Council under the proposals that have been put forward.
Thank you, Mr Dodson.
I don't think we're concerned about the governance. It's a matter of what's left, and I think that's what we really need to find out what's going on, because there seems to be conflicting views everywhere. Look, Councillor Durham isn't in the chamber, and it was right for him to leave. But you know, comments have been made, and it concerns me that maybe some of those comments have come from Essex County Council, and they've not been made privy yet to the officers of this council or indeed members. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I think we've debated this enough. Members will need to take this to the vote, please. So, do you show this by consent? No, recorded vote. Is a recorded vote? Recorded vote requested by Councillor Fluker, seconded by Councillor Stamp. Tara, please. Again, it's for or against members, please. The motion.
Thank you, Chairman. Members, if you could indicate for or against
or abstain.
For your name. This is for motion 2. Starting with Councillor Bassinger, please.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Bell.
Against.
Councillor Bone. Against. Councillor Burwood.
Against.
Councillor Driver.
Against.
Councillor Durham. Oh, sorry,
He's not here.
Sorry. Councillor Fittup.
Against.
Councillor Fluker.
For.
Councillor Hayward. For. Councillor Hughes.
Against.
Councillor Jennings.
Against.
Councillor Lagan.
Abstain.
Councillor Lay.
Against.
Councillor Miller. Councillor Morgan.
Against.
Councillor Neal. For. Councillor Pratt.
Against.
Councillor Shaughnessy.
Against.
Councillor Siddle.
Against.
Councillor Nick Spenceley.
Against.
Councillor Paula Spenceley.
Against.
Councillor Stamp.
For.
Councillor Stevens.
Against.
Councillor Stilts.
For.
Councillor Swindle.
Against.
Councillor Thompson.
Against.
Councillor White.
Actually, I'm going to vote for this one because I think Devo is really important.
It is. Massively.
Thank you, Chairman. The results of that are 6 for, 19 against, 1 abstention. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, members. That motion falls. Councillor Fluker, motion number
Chairman,
3, please.
I think the public are getting a good idea of voting preferences tonight.
Just wait till Councillor Durham.
Oh,
actually
sorry, I
takes
beg
his
your
seat,
pardon. I'll have to repeat
Thank
that
you.
again. You're right, Councillor Durham. Good. I saw your grimace then.
Councillor Fluker, you have
Chairman,
5 minutes, thank you.
Yeah, it won't take that long. Anyway, at least the public can now see a clear idea of preferences when it comes to these 2 motions that we've heard. Chairman, motion 3 is very straightforward. Chairman, this is that the Director of Strategy, Performance and Governance, Mr Dodson, provides, without exception, updates regarding Essex-wide devolution to all future meetings of Council. Chairman, if agreed, it will ensure that all members, residents, local businesses and our customers, and we must never forget our customers, will receive regular updates on the devolution process, including the formation of the Greater Essex Authority and the impacts of doing this on this council. Chairman, I so move. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Fluker. Members? Second, thank you very much indeed. Anybody wish to speak on this? Okay. Would you like to sum up, Councillor
Well,
Fluker?
there's not much to sum up. I rather hope that the members think, if nothing else, this is a good idea, and we can get these updates, and we can rely. I know we can rely on Mr Dodson to give us clear, accurate, and succinct updates, and hopefully the opportunity at that time to ask questions. So, Chairman, I've moved the motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Councillor Fluker. Members, we need to put this to the vote. Did I hear recorded vote? Recorded vote requested by Councillor Fluker, seconded by Councillor Stamp. Tara, could you please take the roll? For, against or abstain, please, members.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, members. This is for motion 3. Starting with Councillor Bassinger, please.
Against.
Councillor Bell.
For.
Councillor Bone. Against. Councillor Burwood.
For.
Councillor Driver.
For.
Councillor Durham. Against. Councillor Fittock. For. Councillor Fluker. For. Councillor Hayward. For. Councillor Hughes.
For.
Councillor Jennings.
For.
Councillor Lagan.
For.
Councillor Lay.
For.
Councillor Miller.
Against.
Councillor Morgan.
Against.
Councillor Neal.
For.
Councillor Pratt.
Against.
Councillor Shaughnessy.
Against.
Councillor Siddle.
Against.
Councillor Nick Spenceley.
For.
Councillor Paula Spenceley.
For.
Councillor Stamp.
For.
Councillor Stevens.
Against.
Councillor Stilts.
For.
Councillor Swindle.
For.
Councillor Thompson.
Against.
Councillor White.
For.
Chairman, the results of that are 17 for, 10 against and no abstentions.
Thank you very much, Tara. That motion passes. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, members, for that. We now move on to agenda item 9. This is questions in accordance with Procedure Rule 6.2, of which notice has been given, and there are none. We move on to agenda item 10, which is leaders and composition of political groups. This is agenda item 10. There was a supplementary pack which was circulated today, and the information can be found on pages 3 and 4. And I call on Mr. Dodson to present the report, please.
Thank you, Chairman. This is a straightforward report. Really, it clarifies the political groupings of the council and requests that the council appoint a leader and a deputy leader of the council, voting first on the leader designate. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Dodson. We have recommendations. The recommendations are, little 1, that the council considers ratification of the leader designate as leader of the council, and recommendation number 2, that the council elects the deputy leader of the council. I move a recommendation 1 set out in the report, that the council considers ratification of the leader designate, Councillor S.J.N. Norman, as leader of the council.
Mr. Chairman, I resign as leader designate and do not wish to put myself forward for vote.
Okay. So we would then move for nominations, I believe, Mr. Quelch. Yeah. Councillor Stamp, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to nominate Councillor Sue White to be the leader of this authority. Sue worked very closely with some of us in the early stages and was very helpful, conciliatory, and I think would have put an excellent leadership team together. And I would invite that I have a seconder for Councillor White to be put as the leader of this council. And I'll ask for a recorded vote, please.
Thank you. So Councillor White and Councillor Fluker seconded that. Councillor White?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have to say this has been a bit of a surprise to me, to put it pretty mildly, because I've done no deals, no horse trading, no nothing. I've not spoken to anybody other than the first week, so I'm feeling a bit peculiar, to be honest. But on the other hand, although it will fail and I won't succeed, I will keep my head above the parapet, as I have done in all the elections. And as I say, it won't happen because I've done no deals. But on the other hand, after the shock's worn off, you know, if we don't put our head up every now and again, where are we?
Councillor White. Councillor Bassinger.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Richard Siddle, please.
Councillor Siddle nominated. Seconder, please. That was close. So that was Councillor Fittock. Any other members wish to nominate? No, so again, we come to a position where we have 2 nominees for the position of leader of the council. So therefore, we need to go through and vote. Do you wish to have a recorded vote on this, Councillor Stamp? Yeah, you did indeed, and Councillor Fluke, I believe, seconded that. So if Councillor White was called first, sorry, Councillor Durham, please.
Well, can I suggest, rather than that we just give the surname of the person as it goes round the room, whether that's...
I think that's a noble way of doing it. I think for consistency, we need to stay with how we've been doing it all evening
Okay, Chairman,
in the
that's
previous
your
years
call.
as Councillor. Thank you very much indeed, Councillor Durham, for that. So Councillor White was nominated first, so we'll take the vote for Councillor White first. Tara, could you please take the roll?
Members, if you could indicate for, against or abstain, please, for Councillor White as leader of the council. Starting Councillor Bassinger, please.
Against.
Councillor Bell.
Against.
Councillor Bone. Abstain. Councillor Burwood.
Against.
Councillor Driver.
Against.
Councillor Durham. Councillor Fittock.
Against.
Councillor Fluker.
For.
Councillor Hayward. Councillor Hughes.
Against.
Councillor Jennings.
Against.
Councillor Lagan.
For.
Councillor Lay.
Against.
Councillor Miller. Councillor Morgan.
Abstain.
Councillor Neal. For. Councillor Pratt.
Abstain.
Councillor Shaughnessy.
Against.
Councillor Siddle.
Against.
Councillor Nick Spenceley.
Against.
Councillor Paula Spenceley.
Against.
Councillor Stamp.
For.
Councillor Stevens.
Against.
Councillor Stilts.
For.
Councillor Swindle.
Against.
Councillor Thompson.
Against.
Councillor White.
For.
Chairman, the results of that are 6 for, 14 against and 7 abstentions.
Thank you very much, Tara. We now move to the nomination of Councillor Richard Siddle. So again, Tara, if you could be kind enough to take the roll. It's for, against or abstain, please.
Thank you, members. Starting with Councillor Bassinger, please.
For.
Councillor Bell.
For.
Councillor Bone. Councillor Burwood.
For.
Councillor Driver.
For.
Councillor Durham. Councillor Fittock.
For.
Councillor Fluker.
Against.
Councillor Hayward. Councillor Hughes.
For.
Councillor Jennings.
For.
Councillor Lagan.
Against.
Councillor Lay.
For.
Councillor Miller. Councillor Morgan.
Abstain.
Councillor Neal.
Against.
Councillor Pratt.
Abstain.
Councillor Shaughnessy.
For.
Councillor Siddle. Councillor Nick Spenceley.
For.
Councillor Paula Spenceley.
For.
Councillor Stamp.
100% against.
Councillor Stevens.
100% for.
Councillor Stilts.
Against.
Councillor Swindle.
For.
Councillor Thompson.
Abstain.
Councillor White.
Against.
Chairman, the results of that are 14 for, 7 against, 6 abstentions. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much indeed, Tara. I therefore declare that Councillor Richard Siddle is the leader of Malden District Council. Thank you, Councillor Morgan. Thank you very much. Would it be right to ask Councillor Siddle if he wishes to say anything? Okay.
Yeah, there's latitude and things like that.
Yeah.
You want it. Yeah.
Okay. Members, please. Thank you. Members, just before I move on to recommendation 2, which is to elect a deputy leader of the council and call for nominations, I just wonder if the leader has anything he wishes to say.
Not at this stage.
Not at this stage. Thank you very much. Members, therefore, we move on to nominations to elect a deputy leader of the council, and I do therefore call for nominations.
Nominate Councillor Bassinger.
Members, any other nominations?
Chairman, I propose Councillor Stamp. Thank you, Chairman.
Passenger, so that's Councillor Passenger, which is second. Councillor Stamp, is that seconded? Seconded by Councillor Stilts. Thank you very much indeed. Again, we have more than one nominee, so we have to go into a vote. Does that wish to be recorded? Yes, recorded vote nominated by Councillor Fluker and seconded by Councillor Stamp. My apologies, Councillor Stamp. Slip of the throat. As Councillor Bassinger's name was called first, again, I'd like to put Councillor Bassinger's name forward first. Tara, could you call a roll call, please?
Yes, members. For Councillor Bassinger as deputy leader. Just bear with me 1 moment.
No, the recording.
Starting with Councillor Bassinger, please.
Got to have it on.
Councillor Bell. Sorry, Chairman. Councillor Bone. Councillor Burwood.
Tara, just bear with us a second. Sorry, has everybody got their lights off and turned their mics on and off? Because we had a green light there.
It's just
Councillor Spenceley, I think.
they want it to relay the sounds. To the
Okay.
People can't hear.
Does it still make the recording? Is it still clear on the recording? Yeah, okay. Sorry, continue, please. Thank you.
So, Councillor Burwood, please. 4. Thank you. Councillor Driver.
4.
Councillor Durham. Councillor Fittock.
4.
Councillor Fluker. Councillor Hayward. Councillor Hughes.
4.
Councillor Jennings.
4.
Councillor Lagan.
Abstain.
Councillor Lay.
4.
Councillor Miller. Councillor Morgan.
Abstain.
Councillor Neal.
Against.
Councillor Pratt.
Abstain.
Councillor Shaughnessy.
4.
Councillor Siddle.
4.
Councillor Nick Spenceley.
4.
Councillor Paula Spenceley.
4.
Councillor Stamp.
Against.
Councillor Stevens.
4.
Councillor Stilts.
Abstain.
Councillor Swindle.
4.
Councillor Thompson.
Abstain.
Councillor White.
Against.
Chairman, the results of that are 14 for, 5 against and 8 abstentions.
Thank you, Tara. And now we have the second nomination, which is for Councillor Stamp.
You don't need it,
Carried?
Chairman.
You sure?
You won't need it.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure we do everything in the spirit of openness and transparency. Therefore, I do declare that Councillor Bassinger is Deputy Leader of Malden District Council. Councillor Bassinger, if you'd like to come to the table, please. Thank you. Leader, you don't want to present reports, do you? No. Okay. But I do want to procedure rule forward. Okay, yeah. Okay, is that on point of order? Yeah. Okay. As soon as I start speaking, you can call a point of order. Okay, you okay with Councillor Bassinger? Yep, settled, yep. All good? All good. Lovely, thank you. Members, we move on.
Councillor, point of order, please.
Yes, Leader, what is your point of order, please, or point of law?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I'd like to raise Procedure Rule 4 in terms of the Leader of the Opposition. And that despite the Constitution stating that the Opposition Leader will be the Leader of the second largest group, for the municipal year 23-24, that the Leader of the Conservative group will be recognised as the Opposition Leader. I so move. Do I have a seconder, please?
I don't believe that is that constitutionally correct. I just need to, before we move forward, I just need to seek the advice of the monitoring officer, please. Members, I'm just going to adjourn the meeting for a comfort break. It's now 8:24 and to seek advice of the monitoring officer. So I'm going to reconvene the meeting. The meeting's going to be adjourned from 8:24. We will reconvene at 8:30. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, members. I reconvene this meeting. Thank you for your patience. Upon Councillor Siddle's request for a point of order, that's not a point of order upon consultation with the monitoring office. And I would say to all members, please look at what a point of order actually is. It's a specific point on the agenda which must be referenced, or a point of law. So we're going to reject that point of order, but you're more than welcome to put in a written notice, a motion, a seconded motion, and that can come to the next meeting of council. So thank you very much.
Sorry, Chairman, point of order. So,
what is your point of order, Councillor?
Well, this will be to do with motions. So I think it will probably be, strangely enough, Chairman, I think it's Procedure Rule 4, which deals with motions. So for clarity, Councillor Siddle has not put in a motion in relation to the Tory group being the opposition, which is quite interesting because I've just put one in to the monitoring officer, to committee services, suggesting another group, and I look forward to debating that with you on the 13th of July. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Fluker. Again, that was not necessarily a point of order, although it was a point of information. Members, just based on the information, it was called about the Leader of the Opposition. The Leader of the Opposition is actually jointly shared at this moment in time by Councillor Stills and Councillor Driver. So that's where we are with regard to that. Again, if a written notice and a motion comes forward at the next meeting, that may change. So now we move on into agenda item number 11, which is appointment of memberships of committees to the council. We move to agenda item 11, the appointments to memberships of the council, and that was circulated today and found in the supplementary packs on pages 5 to pages 12. Before I call on Mr. Dodson to introduce this item, I draw your attention to recommendation 3, where the council is required to make a nomination to certain committees. Confirmation of the Appointments Board membership will be done following the special meeting of committees once chairmen of the committees have been appointed. Could I ask Mr. Dodson to please present the report?
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, this is for the allocation of seats on committees as set out in section 3.6 of the report, and for members to approve the nominations that have been made. There will be additional nominations need to be made to committees for those non-aligned members of the council. And also, as the chairman has said, the appointments committee can't be appointed. We don't know the political makeup of that until we get to that. There's also the Joint Standards Committee, because of the position with the political balance. There is one seat available that I believe there are two groups that are eligible for it, so council will have to appoint to that. But the monitoring officer will be able to clarify that when we get to that point. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Dodson. Members, we have 5 individual recommendations, which I'm chosen to move singly, one at a time. So the recommendation of the report is little 1, is that the allocation of seats on committees as set out in section 3.6 below be ratified. Agree. No, Councillor Stamp, please.
Yes, Chairman. Looking at page 6, I'd like to know where the mid-digs are. If you look at it, it says 3.3, Conservative Group, District Support Group and Liberal Democrats. I can't see any of the mid-digs listed on this paper. Thank you, Chairman.
Councillor Stamp. Mr. Dawson. You're quite correct, Councillor Stamp.
Sorry, I think the point is that there's no reference to
on 3.3.
We're looking at 3.3.
3.3, Mr. Dawson.
I apologise, Chairman. This was obviously a late published paper due to the putting all of the information together, and that is an oversight.
Okay, so where do we move from here?
The Malden Independent Group is listed. It's not the same name. It's the Malden Independent Group.
Not on this paper. It's Conservative Group, District Support Group, Liberal Democratic Group.
No, on my one, there is the Malden Independent Group listed.
Is that the agenda paper that's published this afternoon on page
Yeah,
6?
on mod.gov.
Yeah, I've got it here and it's not listed.
It's on mod.gov and it's listed.
I have it here and it's not listed at the moment. So, Mr. Dodson, what do we take?
Mine is listed either.
Mr. Quelch is not listed either.
We need to go by the published paper. I've got a PDF copy, so we need to check.
I mean, that can be added in orally.
Members, please, just a moment, thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
That's all can just orally add on that to the fourth group and give the members some sort of mind.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Should we do that? Yeah.
Yeah, give me a second. I need the names.
Yeah, okay, so that's Richard Siddle.
Just for a moment, members, I think we have a workable solution. No, it's not here, though. It's not on the monitoring officers.
Emma Stevens. Flo Shawns.
You can only go on the published paper, but we published online and published in hard copy. So we'll just get this advice from the officer.
Just for the minutes that can just be added in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're ready to go.
Okay, Mr. Dodson was just. I call Mr. Dodson just to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. For clarity, Chairman, I can confirm that the political group has been received within all of the guidance and the submissions, and can confirm that the Malden Independent Group is made up of Councillor Siddle, Councillor Bassinger, Councillor Hughes, Councillor Stevens, Councillor Shaughnessy and Councillor Pittock. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dodson. Yeah. Members okay to ratify that? Yep. Okay, that passes. So we move on to little 2, that the member nominations set out in Appendix A be approved. So agreed, members? That's agreed by assent. Thank you. Councillor Stamp, sorry. You may have to put your hand up a bit higher because you're behind Councillor Lay.
And you do need to look around.
Thank you.
Could I just ask if this is the right time, Chairman, to ring up 3.7 of the report? Because we're talking about, if you just bear with me, a Joint Standards Committee. Are we voting on that en masse? Because I want to raise something on that committee, please, Chairman, as a separate item. So if you want to pass all the others, that's fine. But I would like to speak to the council and the monitoring officer on the makeup of this committee. And I'd like to say, even though we're at opposite ends of the table now, Councillor Siddle and I put a motion in June 2020 about the makeup of a Joint Standards Committee. And we felt that it should be equally balanced between, and this would be 2, 2, 2 and 2. And I've had a chat, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, a heated debate, shall we say, with the monitoring officer today. And I would like to propose, to save time and the expediency of this meeting, that we defer the appointment of this committee, so this joint standards, so the new members can understand what motion Councillor Siddle and I put to this council. You're going to say? In June 2020, because I've got the papers to back it up, the minutes, the motions. There was 4 motions put forward and they were all approved at this council.
Thank you very much indeed,
Thank you.
Councillor Stamp. Councillor Siddle.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. So Councillor Stamp was correct. We did do that year. However, it was just for that municipal year, and it was Councillor Stamp because
across the floor through you, Chair. Why wasn't it then reassigned on the political balances ever since at statutory annuals? No, it wasn't.
Okay,
it was.
What my ruling on that? We will defer. Okay, when it comes down to this committee, because of the conflict there, we just need clarity on that. So I'm proposing to defer that as we come to it.
If that helps you, thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. So, with the exception, members of the Joint Standards Committee, that member approved nominations set out in Appendix A to be approved. Is that approved by assent? That's approved by assent. Thank you. Little 3. That where nominations have not been received, the council appoints members to these committee positions. Is that agreed? By assent, that's agreed. Thank you, members. Sorry, Tara.
Chairman, that is in relation to those where there are no nominations, so where there are spaces for non-aligned, we need to actually appoint to those.
I believe we point to those a little bit later on in the agenda paper, don't we?
No, we need to
So we do it now. Okay, members, then we have to do that now. So nomination, pardon me. Yeah, Councillor Siddle.
Thank you, Chairman. So for the Performance, Governance and Audit Committee, I would like to nominate Councillor Bell.
Seconded.
And I would second that.
Seconded by Councillor Bassinger. Thank you.
For the Strategy and Resources Committee, I would like to nominate Councillor White.
Seconded.
And Councillor Lay.
Thank you, members.
And then for the Overview and Scrutiny Committee, I would like to nominate Councillor Siddle Norman.
Seconded.
Councillor
Anybody asked her? Has anybody asked her?
Councillor Siddle.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, I have sent an email to Councillor Siddle Norman. However, I think because she is ill, she hasn't replied to my email, and I didn't have any other contact details for her.
That feels slightly wrong to me, that without confirmation that she will accept.
So we nominate someone else then?
I think.
Can I propose that we defer this one? It's only until the 13th of July when this council meets again. And then whilst you're sending our good wishes, you could also say, would you like to be on overview and scrutiny? Thank you, Chairman.
I think Mr. Gorsh's quite happy to do so.
Yeah, you can put it to the vote.
Yeah, we need to put that to the vote, members. So is.
Councillor Siddle's proposal first. We need to deal with that and then come back to Councillor Fluke because that was the first.
Okay, fine. Okay, Councillor Siddle's motions. Are they agreed, members, by assent? Okay, then we'll come back to Councillor Fluker's. Is that agreed by assent? Thank you, members.
What's been decided by assent? I mean,
just bear with me a second, thank you.
I mean, I think maybe it'd be a good idea just to, for clarity, for each particular nomination for each committee for members to say, give assent, because the overview and scrutiny one, they've obviously heard Adrian's view on it, about things and Wendy's. Do they want to appoint her? I mean, she can decline later on if she wants to, but she can be appointed without her being present.
Or Councillor Siddle Norman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want to just go through each one of them individually, put forward for each committee?
Okay, so again, apologies, members. Councillor Siddle, could you be kind enough just to go through the nominations again? And what we will do is we'll take each nomination and we'll vote on each nomination as we go through. Thank you.
So to Performance, Governance and Audit, I nominate Councillor Bell.
Agreed.
Thank you, that's been agreed.
To Strategy and Resources, I nominate Councillor White.
Agreed by assent. Thank you, members.
To Strategy and yeah, I'm going to do that one as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Tara.
To Strategy and Resources, I nominate Councillor Lay.
Thank you very much indeed, members. Councillor Fluker, you made a proposal about Councillor Siddle Norman.
Chairman, I think it would be polite to ask Councillor Siddle Norman if she wants this position. So, you know, I would propose, Chairman, that we defer until the 13th. It's only 2 weeks.
Technically, we've got the proposal, unless Councillor Siddle is going to withdraw that.
You can withdraw that.
Because yours is first.
I know it is.
Yeah.
So we do have that on the table. Okay. What Councillor Fluker has said is treated as part of the debate. Part of the debate.
Yeah, that's be easier. Thank you. Thank you, members.
Thank you, Chairman. So, based on the discussion that the council has just had, I will withdraw the nomination for Councillor Siddle Norman to overview and scrutiny to be referred to the next full council meeting.
Thank you very much indeed, Leader. Okay, thank you, members, for putting up. This is a rather complicated part of the proceedings. So we move on to agenda item little 4, that members appoint 2 town parish council nominees to sit on the Joint Standards Committee.
committee and also investigating and disciplinary panel, Chairman.
Well, they're afterwards.
Because non-aligned members we vote.
No, but they're afterwards.
Tara, they're afterwards. They're not on my agenda paper at the moment. We'll move to them later.
Yeah, but they're non-aligned. You can do it whichever way.
Yeah, it's first.
Do you want to do that now? Or?
Well, that's the next on the list, isn't it?
So should we move those?
Well, it's item Vanessa, do you want to do it? No, item 3 is the investigation.
Members, I'm just going to adjourn for 2 minutes. The time is 8:47. So I just had to seek advice from the monitoring officer, Mr. Dodson. So we go on to appointing to the Investigating and Disciplinary Committee. It's a non-aligned member. Do I have a nomination? Councillor Siddle.
Yeah, I nominate Councillor Lay.
Is that seconded? Seconded and agreed. Thank you very much. We then move on to the Investigating and Disciplinary Panel. Do I have any nominations from the non-aligned on this item?
I'll nominate Councillor White.
Councillor White. No, it needs to be non-aligned. Is it not to be non-aligned?
She is non-aligned.
Oh, you are non-aligned. My apologies. Yeah. Thank you very much indeed. Is that seconded, members, please? Seconded? Yeah. Thank you very much indeed. Is agreed by assent? Thank you, members. Now we move back. No, we move on to the Appointments Board, which I'm going to defer. That is basically because now we have two leaders and we have to work out the political balance. Councillor Stamp.
The officers at the back would like to speak to you, Chairman.
Certainly. Yeah, we're deferring that at this point anyway. So we need to go back. Thank you.
But you're deferring it anyway.
Anyway, I'm deferring it to the next meeting. Okay, now we just move on to the Joint Standards Committee, where we need to appoint parish councillors. Two parish town councillors appointed from the following nominees. Councillor Stamp.
Chairman, we've deferred that appointments for the whole of that committee. That's
The Appointments Board.
No,
on the agenda
JSC.
At this moment in time.
JSC.
I mean, there is in relation to the district members.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe clarify, does
Joint Standards Committee, sorry.
Councillor Stamp, was the deferral in relation to, I thought it was the 8
Yeah, but I want to,
But just for clarity, my deferral was for the 8 district members, not for the town and parish councils.
Chairman, with all due respect, I'd like to defer the whole of it to do it all at once.
I
Why not?
get your point, but I'd like to actually appoint on the town.
Okay, Chairman.
Thank you very much indeed. So we have.
We agree with that.
Is that agreed? Thank you. So we need to agree 2 parish councillors. We have a list from the nominating nominees, which are Stephen Bardwell, we've got Peter Allen Davey, Michael John Hall, Lester Magnus and Stephen Stratton. So I believe we just go undertake a vote. Councillor Siddle.
Yeah, I would like to nominate Councillor Stephen Stratton.
Seconded. Seconded. Thank you. Members, is that agreed? Well, we can't do it at the moment. No. Any other nominations?
Councillor Steve Barbwell, please.
Councillor Steve Barbwell, is that seconded?
Yes, I'll second that.
Okay. Any other nominations, please? Peter Davies, is that seconded?
Seconded.
It was Peter Allen Davey. That was nominated by Councillor Bassinger. Seconded. A second by Matt. Any other Councillor Spenceley?
I'd like to nominate Councillor Hall, please.
Oh, is that seconded? Thank you. Yeah, that's it. And Councillor Durham, Councillor Magnus. So, we go for a vote.
Well, that means that's right, so you need 2 out of 5.
Yeah.
So what you do is, I guess they have 2 votes. Each member has 2 votes.
Yeah.
So the one with the, well, I suppose what we do is, I suppose you've got to deal with each one separately.
Yeah, we got to vote.
So deal with the first position and then the second position, and so.
It's a standard straight vote, isn't it? You put it to the chamber votes, and whoever gets the least gets dropped off. And
That's right. Yeah. So for the first position, they're all
there's 2 positions.
They're all nominated for both positions. So it's probably best to do it. It's probably best. Well, I suppose you could do it for the
what
2.
positions?
I suppose what you do is the 2 left. Just ask members who you're voting for. You've got 2. Well, the trouble is it's 2 votes. You've got 2 votes because there's 2 positions.
Well, I think we'll go through. So it's less complicated. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. For the first one, I think what you do is you just do them one at a time.
Yeah.
And then, one at a time. The position, each one.
Yeah. Okay, members. Well, because members, thank you. Thank you for your patience. Because every member's been nominated, so what we need to do is we need to go through and vote on each position individually. Okay, so the first person we're going to vote on is Stephen Barbwell.
Well, it's each seat, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's 2 seats. So I suggest that members just state which one, as they go round, which one they want.
Okay.
For that
For the first seat. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then
One second. Hang on.
Miss Bird's look.
Yeah, Miss Bird.
Chairman, can I suggest perhaps that members just indicate who they want to vote for?
That's exactly what the monitoring officer has just advised. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. So we'll go around the chamber, members, and if you could nominate
for the first position.
for the first position the person who you wish to nominate. So we'll actually go around the chamber. Yeah. If we could start with Councillor Morgan.
Lester Magnus.
Was there a
Has it been asked for recorded vote?
Sorry, Tara?
Recorded vote.
Cool, we're going to record the vote. Is that seconded? Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, so we go again. Well.
So Tara's going to say she just go alphabetically each member, and
okay.
and that member calls out one councillor,
Okay.
one nominee.
Okay, so what we're going to do a recorded vote. Tara's going to call out the names, and then you need to vote for one councillor initially, please.
One nominee.
One nominee, please. Okay, we're there. Tara.
Okay, Chairman, Councillor Baxter.
First nomination is for Stephen Stratton.
No, you choose who you wish from the list.
Yeah.
Yeah. You give a name. Thank you.
Is that okay or not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Councillor Bell.
Stephen Stratton.
Councillor Burwood. Yes.
Councillor Mike Hall.
Councillor Brown, sorry, I probably missed you out.
Bardwell.
Thank you very much. Councillor Driver.
Michael Hall.
Councillor Durham.
Lester Magnus.
Councillor Sittock.
Stephen Stratton.
Councillor Speaker.
Mr Stratton.
Councillor Hayward. Councillor Hughes.
Steve Stratton.
Councillor Jennings.
Michael Hall.
Councillor Lagan.
Stephen Bardwell.
Councillor Lay.
Stephen Stratton.
Councillor Miller.
Stephen Bardwell.
Councillor Morgan.
Lester Magnus.
Councillor Neal.
Stephen Stratton.
Councillor Pratt.
Lester Magnus.
Councillor Shaughnessy.
Stephen Stratton.
Councillor Siddle.
Stephen Stratton.
Councillor Nick Spenceley.
Michael Hall.
Councillor Paula Spenceley.
Michael Hall.
Councillor Stamp.
Michael Hall.
Councillor Stevens.
Stephen Stratton.
Councillor Stilts.
Michael Hall.
Councillor Swindle.
Michael Hall.
Councillor Thompson.
Councillor Magnus, sorry.
Councillor White.
Councillor Bardwell.
Chairman, the results of that are
Members, please. I can't hear.
4 for Councillor Bardwell, none for Councillor Davey, 9 for Councillor Hall, 4 for Councillor Magnus, and 10 for Councillor Stratton.
Okay, thank you, members. I declare that Stephen Stratton is the first.
How can Tara give them all again, please, slowly?
Bardwell 4, Davey none, Hall 9, Magnus 4, Stratton 10.
Well, that's not a majority. That's not a majority. So Davey is knocked out. We have to go again.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, it can't work like that.
You have a second vote of the 4 names, surely.
No, what happens is that's the way the rules say it. If you
I
don't
just,
have a
just
majority,
one second.
that wasn't at all made clear.
Mohammed, just through the chair, please. If we could actually, Councillor Bassett, you could address me through the chair, and then I'll ask the monitoring officer to respond.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, Chair.
Thank you.
I would say I believe that we should do them individually. So we've all voted for our first choice, and then we should vote for our second choice. Otherwise, we're eliminating somebody which is nobody's voted for it, and yet we haven't had a chance to vote for them.
I don't think that works. I don't think that works because each member has 2 votes.
Yes, so the
because
first
there's 2 positions. It's 2 positions, so 2 votes. The rules say that where you have an appointment for more than 2 people, and on the first vote, one of those doesn't get a majority, it's like in the American election, it's like in some of the presidential elections, the person with the lowest number drops out.
Okay, so we have to go through that again.
And then that means Davy drops out, so now you've got to go again for the first seat still from the 4, and they have another vote.
Yeah, I can understand it. Members, I've just taken a vote. Thank you, Councillor Bassett. The monitoring officer has just explained that we have to do it because it has to be done by a majority. So the person with the least votes at this moment in time has to drop out, and then we vote again.
Through you, Chair, if I may, we should have 2 votes.
Yes, we're going to
Each
go.
person,
We have
so
to
we
go
should-
through this first, and then we go through again.
But that isn't at all clear, because initially we should have used our 2 votes on the first round, and then we could have eliminated.
Okay, Mr. Quelch.
Yeah, I think yes. The rules say this: there are 2 positions. There are 2 seats. That means you have 2 votes. Each appointment has to be dealt with individually. There are 2 appointments. So, although it sounds cumbersome, you have your first vote, your first seat, and each one of you has 1 vote. 1 vote. If on that first vote there is no majority, because all appointments have to be by majority of those who vote, then the one with the least votes falls out, and you go again still on the first position, and there are therefore only going to be 4 councillors left, and you vote again. Now, as has been pointed out to me by Mr. Dodson, of course, Mr. Davey didn't get any votes, so that isn't going to change. So in view of that, the 2 other ones that are the lowest are Mr. Bardwell and Mr. Magnus. So they go out, leaving a straight vote between Mr. Hall and for the first one, for the first position. The reason is that when Mr. Stratton, if he's voted, people might vote. They obviously for the second vote, those who voted for Stratton might vote for somebody else. They might all transfer their votes to somebody who fell out very early on in the first vote, if you see what I mean. Okay? So that's why it's complicated. It's got to be done that way, so everyone has a genuine 2 votes, and every candidate has 2 genuine opportunities, except for the one that's appointed in the first seat.
So through you, Chair. I mean, Mr. Quelch, I do understand that is possibly an American way of voting, but surely the most simplistic way of voting is for us all to do 1 round with 1 vote first, and then go again, and we can then maybe transfer our votes, as you say, and Mr. Davey may in fact be the next one in line.
Chairman, Procedure Rule 8 sets out, Procedure Rule 13 sets out voting on this particular matter. And it says at sub-rule 6, effectively what I've said, that's the way it should be done. That may not be seen as the best way by members, but that is the way the rules say it should be done.
Okay. So, Councillor Jennings, please.
Question: can we choose not to use our second vote?
Through you, Chairman, you can abstain.
Okay, Councillor Stevens.
Thank you, Chair. Okay, so that may be what it says in the rules, and perhaps we should all be thoroughly conversant with that, but it wasn't explained to us before we took our first vote, and I think some of us might have voted rather more strategically, and I think we've wrecked it now. I think we ought to agree between us how we're going to do this one, and next time we've got this situation, if it's explained properly, then we'll all go into it with our eyes open. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Burwood. Thank you.
Does it also therefore mean that Councillor Stratton is not going to be in the next vote because he has been voted for?
Yeah, that's correct.
No.
Okay.
If members had voted for somebody who had a majority in the, if I may say this, Chairman, if one of the nominees had had a majority in this vote, that person would then be appointed to the position. But because no one got a majority, and the rules say it's not the person with the most votes that wins, but the person that obtains a majority that's appointed, we have to go through this very painful process.
So that leaves us where we have to...
That means my reckoning from what Davey didn't have any, so that wouldn't change anything. So Bardwell and Hall are out.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Bardwell and Magnus. Sorry, Bardwell and Magnus are out. That's right. So that leaves Hall and is it Stratton?
Hall, Stratton, and Davey.
No.
Davey's out, is he?
Davey's out.
Okay,
Hall and Stratton for the first position.
For the first, so members have to cast their vote again.
Yeah, have to cast their vote again.
Members, I agree with you. It's incredibly cumbersome, but that's what the rules say. So at the moment, Bardwell, Davey, and Magnus are out. So we go through the same process again. Please, Tara. We call on Michael John Hall and Stephen Stratton. So could you please vote either way? We have to do it. We have to do this again afterwards to the second position.
Would you like me to explain it again?
Yeah, please.
Very confused.
Yeah, if Councillor Fluker, just let the monitoring officer speak, and then I'll come back to you, please. Thank you.
We're in a position now where they're, based on your voting for the first appointment, there are 2 seats. Can I stress that? There are 2 seats. Dealing with seat 1, first appointment. We're in a position now where the 2 people with the highest votes were Hall and Stratton. So members now have to vote between those 2. If you don't know either of them and prefer to abstain, you can abstain. And it will be the majority, the one that has the highest votes, that is appointed to the first position. Okay, the person that wins is therefore appointed. So coming to the second seat, because there are 2 seats, there will be 4 nominees, and all are back into the frame that didn't win for the second position. Go and we'll go through the same process.
Is that clear, members? As mud. Thank you very much, members, and thank you for the monitoring officer to help us understand this complexity. Okay, so we now go, Tara, for a recorded vote, please. Again, just to give you a reminder, it's Stephen Stratton or Michael John Hall, please, or abstain.
Starting with Councillor Bassinger, please.
Stephen Stratton, please.
Thank you. Councillor Bell.
Stephen Stratton.
Councillor Bowen.
Abstain.
Councillor Burwood.
Councillor Mike Hall.
Councillor Driver.
Michael Hall.
Councillor Durham. Councillor Fittock.
Stratton.
Councillor Fluker.
Mr. Stratton.
Councillor Haywood. Councillor Hughes.
Stratton.
Councillor Jennings.
Hall.
Councillor Lagan.
Abstain, please, Tara.
Councillor Lay.
Stratton.
Councillor Miller.
Abstain.
Councillor Morgan.
Abstain.
Councillor Morley. Sorry, Councillor Neal. Apologies.
Stratton.
Councillor Pratt.
Abstain.
Councillor Shaughnessy. Stratton. Councillor Siddle.
Stratton.
Councillor Nick Spenceley.
Michael Hall.
Councillor Paula Spenceley.
Michael Hall.
Councillor Stamp.
Michael Hall.
Councillor Stevens.
Stephen Stratton.
Councillor Stilts.
Michael Hall.
Councillor Swindle.
Michael Hall.
Councillor Miss Thompson.
Stratton, please.
Councillor White.
Councillor Hall.
Chairman, the results of that are 10 for Councillor Hall, 11 for Councillor Stratton, and 6 abstentions.
Thank you very much. So it's Councillor Stratton. Yeah, okay, members, thank you very much. Therefore, I confirm that Councillor Stratton is appointed. So Councillor Stratton comes off the list, members, and we move on to the second position. Again, all players are back in. Councillor Bardwell, Davey, Hall and Magnus. So members, I think we're familiar with the position. So again, Tara, if I could ask you to do the roll call.
Mr Davey.
Councillor Bell?
Abstain.
Councillor Bell?
Davey.
Councillor Burwood?
Councillor Hall.
Councillor Driver?
Michael Hall.
Councillor Durham?
Davey.
Councillor Fittock?
Councillor Davey.
Councillor Fluker?
Mr Davey.
Councillor Hayward? Councillor Hughes?
Davey.
Councillor Jennings?
Michael Hall.
Councillor Lagan?
Councillor Bardwell.
Councillor Lay?
Michael Hall.
Councillor Miller?
Davey.
Councillor Morgan?
Abstain.
Councillor Neal?
Davey.
Councillor Pratt?
Davey.
Councillor Shaughnessy?
Davey.
Councillor Siddle?
Davey.
Councillor Nick Spenceley?
Michael Hall.
Councillor Paula Spenceley?
Michael Hall.
Councillor Stamp?
Michael Hall.
Councillor Stevens?
Peter Davey.
Councillor Stilts?
Michael Hall.
Councillor Swindle?
Michael Hall.
Councillor Thompson?
Davey.
Councillor White?
Councillor Barble.
Chairman, the results of that are 2 for Bardwell, 13 for Davey, 10 for Hall, none for Magnus, and 2 abstentions.
Thank you, Tara.
Davey wins the majority.
Okay.
Because William Hall and Barbara got them 12. So Davey gets a straight.
Okay, members, this was slightly easier because Councillor Davey has been elected with a majority. Thank you very much indeed, members, for that. We now move on. We're still on agenda item 11, members, and we are little 5. Please that members note the chairperson's job description ahead of the appointments to chairpersons of these committees in Appendix B. That's for noting. Is that noted? Thank you, members. We now move on to agenda item 12, which is adjournment of meeting. Members, we will now adjourn this meeting at 9:16 p.m. to allow the following special meetings of the Council to take place: Performance, Governance and Audit Committee, Strategy and Resources Committee, Licensing Committee, Overview and Scrutiny Committee, Joint Standards Committee, which we are going to defer, Investigating and Disciplinary Panel, Disciplinary Committee, District Planning Committee, Central Area Planning Committee, Northwest Area Planning Committee, South East Area Planning Committee. Members, for each special meeting, the Director of Strategy, Performance and Governance will read out the agreed membership for each committee. And as I said earlier on, to assist our clerk and any members of the public that are watching, could you please stand when your name is called? Thank you. So the meeting is adjourned at 9:16. Oh, sorry, yeah, apologies. Mr. Dodson, could you please call the names of the Performance, Governance and Audit Committee?
Councillor Bassinger, Councillor Burwood, Councillor Miller, Councillor Pratt, Councillor Shaughnessy, Councillor Spenceley, Councillor Stamp, Councillor Stilts, Councillor Thompson and Councillor Bell.
Thank you very much. I can move on to ask for the nominations now. Yeah. Is that clear? Yeah. So I now call for nominations to chairperson of the Performance and Governance and Audit Committee for the municipal year to May 2024.
Nominate Councillor Bell.
Nominate Councillor Bell, seconded by Councillor Shaughnessy. Members that agree by assent? No assent. You'd like a vote? A show of hands or recorded? Yeah, show of hands. Could we put a show of hands, please? Those for? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, believe, because just check that. That's 6-4. Those against? 1 against. Any abstentions? Two against. Thank you. 2 abstentions. 2 against. Any abstentions? 2 abstentions. 3 abstentions. No, you can't abstain. You're on the committee. So 2 abstentions. Is that clear, Tara?
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah.
Okay, I now hand over to, I declare that Councillor Bell is the Chair of Performance Governance Audit Committee. I hand over to Councillor Bell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So can I ask for nominations for Vice Chair?
Nominate Councillor Thompson.
Seconded.
Are there any other nominations? Okay, then we'd take a vote. Are we happy with a show of hands? Don't need to. Of course we don't. I've still got COVID brain. I do apologise. Thank you, Councillor Thompson. Is that the end? No?
So you can close the meeting.
Thank you very much. I now close the meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, we now move on for the special meeting of Strategy and Resources Committee. Mr. Dodson, could you please call the names?
Councillor Bown, Councillor Driver, Councillor Durham, Councillor Fittock, Councillor Fluker, Councillor Jennings, Councillor Siddle, Councillor Stamp, Councillor Thompson, Councillor White and Councillor Lay.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Dodson. Members, I now call for the Chairperson of Strategy and Resources Committee for the municipal year to May 2024. Can I take
Nominate Councillor Durham.
Councillor Durham, is that seconded? Seconded by Councillor Thompson. Councillor Fluker.
Very much, Chairman. Can I just ask Councillor Durham, he attended 3 meetings of this committee last year. Is he intending to come to all 6 this year?
I think we need to.
Yeah.
Well,
I
Chairman,
don't
I
think
will
that's actually
attend those
applicable
that
then.
I'm able.
Yes, nominations at the moment. So we've got Councillor Durham, and that's been seconded.
Based on that comment.
Yeah. Okay, members. So we have Councillor Durham as nominated as chair. Is that agreed by assent? Agreed. Show of hands, please. In that case, those 4, please. So put your hands up. Can you help me count, please? 1, 2, 3, 4. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a 6-4. Those against, please show. That's 2. Any abstentions? 2 abstentions. Thank you very much. There's no need.
There was no need. It's okay. It's done.
Done. Okay. So, Councillor Durham.
Well, thank you very much, Chairman. Thank you very much, Committee. I now seek nominations for the position of Vice Chair of Statutory and Resources, and from the Chair I would like to nominate Councillor Fittock.
Seconded.
I propose Councillor Stamp.
Chairman.
Oh, sorry. Did you call for other nominations?
Well, are there any other nominations other than Councillor Fittock? Councillor Fluker? Is that seconded? Okay, so members, I think just a straight... I'm sorry, Councillor Stamp? Okay. Members, could you indicate for Councillor Fittock?
That's 8 for Councillor Fittock.
And could you indicate for Councillor White? Councillor Stamp, sorry. Councillor Stamp. I know, I'm always looking at you, Councillor Stamp. Yeah.
For Councillor Stamp, 3.
So congratulations, Councillor Fittock. You are now the Vice Chairman of Strategy and Resources. And Chairman, I now close this meeting of Strategy and Resources at 9:22. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Durham. Members, I now call for nominations, the committee for Overview and Scrutiny Committee. Mr. Dodson, could I please have the committee names, please?
Councillor Hayward, Councillor Hughes, Councillor Morgan, Councillor Morley, Councillor Neal, Councillor Spenceley, Councillor Stevens, Councillor Swindle, and Councillor Whiffen.
Thank you very much.
And there's a vacancy for the non-aligned member.
You didn't nominate that now?
No, that's left.
Okay. So now what we need to do, we now look for nominations of the chairperson of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee for the municipal year to May 2024. Could I please have nominations?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to nominate myself.
Okay. Is that seconded? Seconded by Councillor Stevens. Any other nominations? Okay, therefore I declare that Councillor Morgan, we should put that to the vote, or is it, there's no other nominations, so we may as well, congratulations Councillor Morgan. Thank you.
Members, could I have a nomination for the position of Vice Chairman of the OAS?
I'd like to nominate Councillor Paula Spenceley.
So you're the chair?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not. Yeah.
Is there any other nominations? Then in that case, I declare Councillor Spenceley Vice Chairman. Well done, thank you.
And the meeting is closed at.
Meeting is closed, indeed.
Indeed, the meeting is closed at 9:25. Thank you, members. We now move on to the Joint Standards Committee, please.
No, that's not being constituted.
Not being constituted. Okay, that's not being constituted this evening. Thank you. We move on to the Investigating and Disciplinary Committee. Mr. Dodson, please.
Because it's not been appointed. We've not done licensing.
No.
It's okay.
Have we not done licensing? I'll go back to that.
Councillor Neal, Councillor Stevens, Councillor Swindle, Councillor Thompson, and Councillor Lay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dodson. I now call for nominations for the chairpersons, please, for the Investigating and Disciplinary Committee for the municipal year to May 2024.
Yes, I'd like to nominate Councillor Thompson, please.
Councillor Thompson, is that seconded, please? You can second it. Any other nominations? Okay, I therefore declare that Councillor Thompson is the chair of the Investigating and Disciplinary Committee. Councillor Thompson.
Thank you, Chairman. I now call for nominations for the Vice Chairman of the INDC, and from the Chair I'd like to nominate Councillor Stevens. Is that seconded, please? Oh, it wasn't you, sorry. Councillor Swindle, I'm sorry.
Somebody's microphone's on. So.
I wasn't aware that I was being nominated and I'm not standing.
Sorry, I apologise. That was my ADHD brain. Sorry. Yes, Councillor Swindle.
I also wasn't aware that I was being nominated, so
well, I've got Emma
I
on my
declined.
list. Have you got on your list?
Yeah.
Have you got on your list for your IDC?
So, are you standing? Decline. Okay.
It's going to have to be you, Emma.
So, nominations for vice chair.
So I stepped down because I assumed that Councillor Swindle was aware and was willing to do it. But if she would prefer not to, then yes, I will take the advice.
Can I re-nominate if that's necessary?
Yeah. Is that seconded?
Yeah. Oh, second yourself.
Okay, Chair.
So I've finished. Oh, sorry. Yes, I declare Councillor Stevens to be the Vice Chairman of the INDC that hasn't met since 2011, thankfully, and close the special meeting.
Thank you. At 9:27. Thank you very much. We now call for members of the Licensing Committee, members, which I have negated on the agenda paper. Mr. Dodson.
Councillor Bassinger, Councillor Driver, Councillor Durham, Councillor Haywood, Councillor Lay, Councillor Morgan, Councillor Spenceley, Councillor Stevens, Councillor Stilts, and Councillor Thompson.
Thank you. So, this is licensing. Okay. If your name was called, you need to stand, yeah? Okay. Thank you very much indeed, members. I now call for nominations of the chairperson of the Licensing Committee for the municipal year to May 2024.
Mr. Chairman, I nominate Councillor Durham.
Second.
Any other nominations? Councillor Steels.
Clarification.
You can.
Because the licensing committee is a pool of 10, of which they pick 4 of us, and then when we get to that hearing, we choose a chairman.
Subcommittee.
Okay, thank you very much. So, thank you very much indeed, Councillor Steele. It's very important to clarify those points. So we have a chair called as Councillor Durham. Is that seconded? Is that seconded? Seconded by Councillor Stevens. So I announce that Councillor Durham is the chair of Licence Committee. Councillor Durham.
Yeah, thank you very much. Members, I therefore call on nominations for the Vice Chairman of Licensing Committee. And I've forgotten who. Oh, and I shall nominate Councillor Mrs Thompson. Quite happy to.
Seconded.
Are there any other nominations? No. Therefore, I confirm that Councillor Mrs Thompson is the Vice Chair of Licensing Committee, and I close this meeting at 9:30.
Thank you, Councillor Durham. District Planning. Yeah, now call for, we're going to move on to the nomination of District Planning Committee. Mr Dodson, please, special meeting.
Thank you, Chairman. This is all members.
Okay. So, thank you, up you get. Thank you very much. Members, okay, I will now call for nominations to Chairperson of the District Planning Committee for the municipal year to May 2024. Nominations, please.
Nominate Councillor Lagan.
Seconded.
Okay. Did you know, Chairman, you were being nominated? I didn't, but being honest, I served on that committee last year. So, yeah, is there any other nominations? Okay.
Councillor Martin, if you were to stand up and join the committee under the rules, we'd be allowed to sit down.
Councillor Fluker, I'll indulge you on that one because I'm an old chap with a bad back. Thank you. Yeah. So, any other nominations? So, therefore, I declare that Councillor Lagan is the chair of the District Planning Committee. Members may seat. Okay. I guess I'm going to call now. I'm going to now call for nominations for vice chair of the District Planning Committee. Call for nominations.
Nominate Councillor Pratt.
Okay. Councillor Pratt, that's seconded. Any other nominations? Members, therefore, I declare that Councillor Pratt is the Vice Chair of District Planning Committee, Central Area District Planning Committee. My apologies. It's been a very long night, and therefore I close this meeting at 9:30 p.m. Thank you, members. We now move on to Central Area Planning Committee. Mr Dodson, please.
Councillor Burwood, Councillor Driver, Councillor Jennings, Councillor Lagan, Councillor Lay, Councillor Miller, Councillor Shaughnessy, Councillor Spenceley, Councillor Stilts, Councillor Swindle.
Thank you, Mr Dodson. I now call for a nomination for Chairperson of the Central Area Planning Committee for the municipal year to May 2024.
Nominate Councillor Driver.
Councillor Driver, is that seconded? Seconded. Okay, any other nominations, please? I therefore announce that Councillor Driver is the Chairman of the Central Area Planning Committee. Thank you, Councillor Driver.
Thank you. Can I call upon members who wish to be the Vice Chair of the Central Planning Committee? And I'm from the Chair, call Councillor Shaughnessy.
Thank you.
Doing any other nominations? Or do we have a seconder? Thank you. Any other nominations? In which case, congratulations, and I close the meeting at 9:31. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Driver. We now move on, members, to North Western Area Planning Committee special meeting. Mr Dodson.
Councillor Durham, Councillor Hughes, Councillor Morgan, Councillor Morley, Councillor Siddle, Councillor Stevens, Councillor Thompson, Councillor White and Councillor Whiffen.
Thank you. I now call for nominations of the Chairperson of the North Western Area Planning Committee for the municipal year to May 2024. Do I have any nominations, please?
Councillor Durham.
Councillor Durham as Chair.
Seconded.
Seconded by Councillor Morgan. Any other nominations? With therefore no more nominations, Councillor Durham, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, members. I now call for nominations for the Vice Chair of North Western Area Planning Committee, and from the Chair, I nominate Councillor Mrs. Thompson.
Seconded.
Are there any other nominations? Therefore, confirm that Councillor Mrs. Thompson is the Vice Chair of North West Area Planning, and close this meeting at 9:33. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Durham. We now move on to the special meeting for South Eastern Area Planning Committee. Mr. Dodson.
Councillor Bassinger, Councillor Bell, Councillor Bown, Councillor Fittock, Councillor Fluker, Councillor Hayward, Councillor Laybourne, Councillor Neal, Councillor Pratt, Councillor Siddle-Norman and Councillor Stamp.
Thank you very much indeed. I now call for nominations to Chairperson of the South East Area Planning Committee.
Nominate Councillor Bell.
Councillor Bell. Any other nominations? Seconded?
Chair.
Yeah.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Fluker.
Councillor Bell and Councillor Fluker. Is that seconded?
I'll second it.
That's seconded by Councillor Hayward.
Thank you, Chairman, but I'd just make it clear that I've watched very closely tonight the voting, and I won't waste your time. So I'll stand down, and Councillor Bell's already talked about her allowances and the need for them. So I wish her well at putting food on the table.
Very unfair.
I'm very glad that Councillor Fluker is
you only get one
so keen
allowance.
to
You only get one allowance.
enable me to eat for the forthcoming year.
Members, thank you very much, Councillor Bell. Thank you very much
Thank you.
indeed. So you're now the
So,
Chair of the Centre South Eastern.
If we could take nominations for Vice Chair, I'd like to nominate Councillor Fittock. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
We're not doing this.
Any other nominations for Vice Chair?
No, none of that. None of the
Manson.
So just pause.
That's been deferred.
Yeah. Thank you very much indeed.
And I had my
members.
microphone off, I do apologise.
Members, thank you very much indeed for that. We now move on to item number 13, members, which is the resumption of business. We will now resume the business of this extraordinary council meeting at 9:35. Members, agenda item 14 has been deferred as earlier on in the evening. We move on to agenda item number 15, which is appointments of representatives to local government and outside bodies. We move to agenda item 15, an appointment of representatives to local government and outside bodies. Yes, Tara.
Can I just clarify, we're not appointing appointments board?
No, we deferred that earlier. Thank you, Tara. Yeah, I'll just repeat that. Thank you. We move to agenda item 15, which is the appointments of representatives to local government and outside bodies. This was circulated today, members, and is found on supplementary pack on pages 13 to 22. Mr. Dodson, could you please introduce the report?
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, this is for the appointment of representatives to local government and outside bodies, as the Chairman says, as detailed in Appendix 1, which have been nominated by the respective political groups. And this is for the endorsement of those places. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Dodson. Members, we have 3 recommendations to move on the report. I'm proposing to take them as one unless anybody objects. So I will go for little 1 is that the appointment of representatives to local government and outside bodies as detailed in Appendix 1 nominated by the respective political groups be agreed for the municipal year to May 2024. Thank you. Councillor Driver.
Yeah, for the tourism board at the moment, I think the substitute is Councillor Miller, and actually beforehand it was agreed that Councillor Jennings would take that substitute place if that is agreeable.
Okay, I'll just run it by the monitoring officer, Mr. Dodson. Is that agreeable?
That's a matter for that's a matter for proposal. So if that's being proposed, yeah, it stands in. You can do all the others and then come back to that.
Well, we'll just say
substitute for tourism. Yeah, because you've got now you've got a proposal as Councillor Jennings.
Yeah.
Is that if that's been seconded?
It's the proposal. Thank you, Councillor Driver. So the proposal for Councillor Jennings has that been seconded? Councillor Stilts has seconded. So, the little 2 that representatives that were representatives not approved to appoint to the outside body seats. That's that 2, and then little 3 that members appoint as representatives to local government and outside bodies are responsible for sharing minutes of meetings attended and to be stored centrally on the modern.gov library as per the details in section 3.3 of the report below. Do I have a seconder for those recommendations? Seconded by the leader, Councillor Siddle. Members agreed? Agreed by us, that's agreed by assent. Thank you. I don't have to go back to that one. That's agreed. Good, lovely. Members, we move on to agenda item 16, which is appointment of members to serve on working groups. We move to agenda item 16, an appointment of members to serve on working groups. Again, this was circulated today and found in the supplementary pack on pages 23 to 30. I'd like Mr. Dodson again for call on him to present the report in summary.
Thank you, Chairman. This report is for the appointment of members to serve on working groups of the Council. I would draw members' attention that there have been some updates to the proposed operation of working groups following the Performance Governance and Audit Working Group, including that a quorum be set for working groups of 50% of the membership, and the updates are set out amongst the recommendations, as well as members appointing to those working groups. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dodson. I have 6 recommendations, which again I would like to read through and take as one. Little 1, that members approve the nominations for the working groups provided by the respective political groups in Appendix 1. Little 2, that we're Councillor Fluker. Anybody wishes to speak? Because no. Okay, we'll take them individually. So, Councillor Fluker.
Sorry, I refer to page 29. I'm sorry it took so long to get there. I spoke earlier on about the new devolution work.
Microphone, Councillor Fluker, please. Thank you.
I spoke earlier on to the new devolution working group, and I note, Chairman, that there are 4 members in addition to the leader of the council, leader of the opposition, and various chairmen. But, Chairman, I also note that the 4 members, Chairman, there doesn't appear to be anybody there from the Morden Support Group, which Councillor Lagan, I forget that you're Chairman. I wasn't sure if you sort of stood there, but I do wonder, Chairman, that in your position as Chairman, whether or not you might consider your position on that committee, and perhaps allow somebody else from your illustrious group to take it on. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Fluker. No, I understand, and I think I would be thinking of that. I would actually step back from that. So, Councillor Stilts, as leader of that group, have you a nominee?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to nominate Councillor Fluker on that.
Is that seconded? Okay. That has to go to the chamber.
Well, no, that proposal is accepting all of those, substituting you for Councillor Fluker.
That's fine.
And that's
so we can just carry on.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's fine. Thank you. So we move on to a little item 2. The 3 we've just done that. Councillor Stevens.
For the sake of those of us who couldn't hear Councillor Fluker, could you explain what was just agreed, please?
Certainly,
We just couldn't hear Councillor Fluker. Thank you.
Yeah, on the committee, we've decided to come off and Councillor Fluker to come on because of my position as chair. I feel it's better for that to be better for the council for that to occur. Thank you, Councillor. Okay, so we're on to little 3. That members appointed as the chairpersons of working groups will provide a leadership role and present back working group recommendations to committee and the council. Little 4, as Mr. Dodson has stated earlier, that a quorum be set for working groups of 50% of the memberships. Little 5, that substitutes for working groups are allowed, including non-aligned members who must notify directly, as working groups do not need to be politically balanced. And little 6, that the makeup of the Member Training and Development Working Group is changed to 8 members of the Council, as reflected in the political group nominations as in Appendix 1. Okay, do I have a seconder for those recommendations? Councillor Fluker. Microphone, Councillor Fluker.
Chairman, with regards to the quorums on working groups, Chairman, and I go back to what I said with the leader of the council earlier on. You know, we've been at some very, very important working groups, and we've got 8 or 9 members on them. We've only had 3 members there, and we've had other members that aren't allowed to vote really, but we've always listened to them and welcome whatever they've said. But if some of those meetings hadn't have gone on, reports wouldn't have gone to committee or council, and we would have just been log jammed. And this is so important with the local development plan review, or it's called something else now. But it's just so important, and I'm just really concerned that we could tie ourselves up with this. I'm not sure, Mr. Quelch, I see your head's down, your glasses are off, and you're looking, and maybe you'll tell me if we can send substitutes. But we've had the situations before where we haven't had substitutes then. And it is this 50%, I think, ties council enormously.
I think Councillor Fluker, under little 5, it actually defines that the substitutes are allowed. Yeah. So I think that would help balance the problem.
I get that, but it's been really difficult to get members to come to working group. I mean, I suspect a lot of members tonight are realising the enormity of what they've taken on. But Chairman, it can be really difficult for people to get to some of these working group meetings, and sending substitutes is fine. But bear in mind, we changed the rules to allow any member to go to any working group, I think. And we still don't get anybody turn up. I would really hate to hog tie us over this 50%, and I would say that we reduce it. I'm looking for some guidance from the leader, but you know, maybe we should say 3 members or something like that, because we don't want to miss out, because we get in a cycle of working groups, committees and council, and if you suddenly get a working group that can't meet because it's hog-tied on membership, then that whole 7-week cycle ceases.
Is he making a proposal? He needs to make a proposal that is changed.
Are you making a proposal that that's changed, Councillor Fluker?
Chairman, I am making a proposal, but I'm not, and I'm on a run, Chairman, because I've managed to get one motion through tonight. But I'm not sure what it should be. I mean, I'm going to look towards Councillor Durham and other experience on, you know, whether it's, I can see Councillor Thompson's hands up, and I'm sure she'll come up with something. But maybe it's 3 members, just so that we can. And don't forget, and I think for the benefit of the new members, working groups do not make decisions; they make recommendations. So they don't make decisions, so you don't miss out on anything. But we need to get that recommendation into a committee so that the committee can decide, or council can decide. But Chairman, I'll give way to Councillor Thompson. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Thompson, and then Councillor Siddle, please.
Thank you, Chairman. To my surprise, and probably his also, I'm going to speak in to support Councillor Fluker, who would he kindly turn his
Supported
microphone
each other
on.
for years, and I appreciate it.
Because you know, I can't help noting the working groups are not decision making, and yet we don't have a quorum of 50% on anything else that is decision making. So why would we do it on a working group? That doesn't make sense. I would have thought three members of a working group would be quite reasonable, but it does also rather indicate the pointlessness of trying to appoint the whole council to a working group if we can't get half a dozen to turn up. You know, it's difficult. They're daytime meetings, and we now have substitutes, which, if this passes, is a big step forward. So could I suggest second, if Councillor Fluke is saying three members of the working group, and that passes the monitoring officer's gaze, then can I second that?
Thank you. I'll just, Mr. Dodson, come straight to you, leader.
It was just for information, Chairman, just to share. I believe this was a recommendation of the PGA working group originally.
Thank you. I'm not sure.
Councillor Siddle, please.
I'm not sure where.
Thank you, Chair. I can fully appreciate what Councillor Fluker is saying. I was involved in some very important working groups in the last year, and it was difficult to get even 3 people to turn up to those working groups. So the fact that we now have the motion to put forward substitutes, I think will help in terms of that. Yeah, I agree with Councillor Thompson in terms of committees. Our quorum is 3. So therefore, I would put forward a recommendation that quorum for working groups is 3 councillors. Do I have a seconder, please?
That's already been.
Is it okay?
Yeah, that's already been done by.
Well, it was a bit vague. Wasn't sure, but yeah, I support that motion then.
Okay, members. So we have a motion that's been seconded on the table for the amendment for little 4. Can I have a vote on that? That the quorum is set to 3 members. By show of hands, please. That seems to be unanimous. Yeah, that seems to be mostly unanimous. Anybody against? No abstentions. So that's passed, Tara. Thank you very much indeed. So that was, we move on to the recommendations as a whole with that amendment, members. Are members happy with the recommendations that have been tabled this evening? Agreed. Thank you, members. Okay, we move on to agenda item 17. I don't think I have to ask for an extension of time, members. Item 17 is questions to the Leader of the Council in accordance with Procedure Rule 17. Are there any questions? Councillor Spenceley, Councillor Paula Spenceley.
Sorry, yes, I'm going to be really quick because I know how much everybody wants to get home now, and I don't expect an answer right now, but I would like to have clarity, please, on the way forward for the Haybridge Flood Alleviation Reference Group for this year, because it's not on here, and I have asked Mr Dodson, and I haven't heard. So I would like to know what's happening with that, because that needs to be sorted out. Thank you.
Okay, Leader.
Thank you, Councillor Spenceley. It is a really, really important matter for Haybridge, and I think it's important that we bring this back and we have some kind of scheme, a working group to work on that, liaising with our partners in terms of those who are going to implement any schemes. I know that Great Totten causes a lot of the flooding in Haybridge, so my parish, unfortunately, and ward is responsible for it. So it is a wider thing, both in the Dengie as well, so I think it's important that we have this focus, and we have a working group that looks at those things and can lobby in terms of partnerships and get partnerships to come to that working group, hopefully.
Thank you, Leader. Are you satisfied, Councillor Spenceley?
Council did agree that we would have the reference group at full council before the elections, so I want to see that happen, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Spenceley. Any other questions to the Leader? Councillor Fluker.
Yeah, it's often, with these very important working groups, I think it's a really good idea to speak to committee services and advice. Leader, it's understood that you recently stated that you're going to review the 23-24 budget, which has a shortfall of 830,000, and also the medium-term financial strategy, which has a shortfall of £1.2 million in 24-25, which means we're going to have to spend £1.2 million worth of taxpayers' money to prop up the council. Leader, if this is correct, can you explain to council why you voted to support the 23-24 budget and the MTFS, and also did not support a motion to council for an autumn budget in 2022, which if it had gone through, it would have reduced those shortfalls dramatically, which would have improved the financial position of the council now. I would just say, Leader, that I am looking forward to working with you on the Strategy Resources Working Group, where I'm sure we'll be looking at this. But I would like to hear what your thoughts are, because you know how important it is to me, this budget, and trying to get it right. Likewise, the MTFS.
Leader.
Thank you, Councillor Fluker. It's important to me as well. Yeah, the future of this council is important. We are lucky in terms of in terms of comparison to other councils that we still do have £5 million of reserves. That was recently produced, that we have £5 million of reserves. So we are in a good position. However, you are correct that if we don't look at how we spend our money and the way that we allocate our money, then in a couple of years' time, we'll be below our minimum reserves. We don't really want that to happen. What I feel that we need in terms of the council is to ensure that our strategy reflects how our expenditure, reflects how we look at our services. And one of the things I'm interested to hear from is the LGA finance peer review. So we are waiting for that report to come. And I think that report will really help us in terms of ensuring that we set our strategy and connect that strategy to our finances, because not enough of that has been done in the past. So it's tying those two things together. We can't just cut for cutting's sake. One of the things we've got to look at is how we share services with other local authorities. If we have no services to share, we won't be able to work with other local authorities. So yes, you're right, this is important. And what I hope will happen in the very near future is that we change the finance working group into a finance board that has a cross-section of all groups on the council that are represented on that. And that's something I'd really like to see happen. So that would then beef up and look at connecting our finance into strategy.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Leader. Members, any other questions? Councillor Stamp, please.
Chairman, I've got one. A resident actually asked me to ask this question. Does the Councillor Siddle have any intention of joining the Conservative Party and leaving the mid-digs? Thank you.
Leader.
Well, as you know, I was elected as a Conservative member to this council. And unfortunately, through different things happening during my first few years of being a councillor, I felt that my relationship at that particular point was untenable with the Conservative Party. And that's when I became an independent. However, I have no intention of joining the Conservative. They probably wouldn't want me anyway. Yeah, let alone me joining them. But the key thing about what we need to do at this council is to ensure that we work together, ensure that we work, and that's what we've seen tonight in terms of how things are voted and way things are voted. We have voted across parties, we have supported across parties, and that's what we need to do. At a local level, having the focus on our district and have a focus on our residents is the most important thing. So I can categorically say, I'm sorry, Tom, and I won't be joining you. However, I look forward to working with the Conservatives and the Liberal Democrats and the DSG in terms of, and the non-aligned, in terms of administering this council and working, ensuring that this council delivers for the district.
Thank you, Leader. That's our 15 minutes of Leaders' questions, so we move on to agenda item 17, business by reason of special circumstances considered by the chairperson to be up. Councillor Stilts, my apologies.
Thank you. The question for the Leader was that at the next meeting you will have to do a Leader statement. Are you going to share it with the leaders of the other parties beforehand?
Leader.
It will be shared with the other leaders of the parties, because we aren't in a coalition. However, we are working informally with other political groups to ensure that we administer this council in the right way. So I won't be making any statements. I won't be making anything without the approval of other groups that we're working with, and that's the crucial thing.
Thank you, councillors. Thank you, members. In my haste to move to number 17, but the business by reason of special circumstances considered by the chairperson to be urgent, there is none apart from the fact that I would like to thank everybody this evening for their patience, and I want to extend a very, very gracious thank you to the officers for their support and guidance as well. Councillor Stamp.
I'd like to also thank you. It's your first one, and it was pretty tricky, but you did pretty damn well, love.
Thank you very much indeed. So, members, we move on to closure of the meeting. Thank you for your contributions this evening. I now draw this meeting to a close at 9:59. Oh, just in time. Members, as this is now closed, you're advised not to enter into any further discussion. Please leave the meeting promptly and drive home or walk home safely. Thank you.